also, or at least in this flood and drain, and only this flood and drain, have we gotten babies. I would say the past year, this is probably like the second or third round of baby tilapia that we've gotten, and there are several in here that I haven't been able to get, but most of the fish are actually in the tanks over there. Those three, those are all from these tilapia reproducing. So when people come here and they hear about the aquaponics, and you, Jorge, asked me about like which fish would be like the best to have for aquaponics. I've only, well, here we have the tilapia, goldfish, and koi fish. And from my observance, at least just here working with the aquaponics, it seems like tilapia is the best because even though we think we have like a pregnant goldfish, that's the first time I've seen with the 2 years I've been here one of the other fish be pregnant. But the tilapia I've seen on several occasions throughout the past 2 years. So when doing aquaponics, they basically are able to reproduce on their own, so you can keep the cycle going. So once you buy the tilapia, it seems as though they're able to basically help keep going. So if one passes, you have one or two more coming in its place. And the baby ones in here, I would have taken out. Oh, here we go. There's some.
Yeah, oh yeah. You can see them there.
I would have taken them out, but also these guys are pretty quick to get, or they're pretty fast. So I was only able to get out maybe 8 or 9 for this round of babies to put in one of the other tanks over there. But all of the other, basically tilapia that we have in the 3 smaller tanks with the pineapple on top are all from this first flood and drain system that we have. So now I think I'm just waiting on these guys here, or have yet to see in the second flood and drain system babies. But most of the fish actually in the second flood and drain system came as being babies from this flood and drain system. So they've done pretty well in reproducing and doing their thing.
Neat.
Yes.
And you think some of them might have come from?
It could be from these guys. I can't really tell, mainly just because the pipe, the pipe between the two
connects the two.
And it goes, But
I think that's really good because the bigger fish, and one of the reasons when I first brought the system here to Rosebud, the people down in St. Pete who designed it not only wanted to have larger area for the fish, but we were limited to using IBC tanks. So the pipe was a clever way to make it bigger, and it used to be longer. It used to be 3 or 4 of them altogether. But it was also that the big fish might have babies, and larger fish might eat the babies because they're supposed to be they're cannibalistic.
So that's why most of them I immediately not immediately, because when they're still young they go into the mother's mouth for safety. But when it comes to a certain age, or like after a couple weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take them out now because it's just easier to. So that's why most of them you see are over here.
Sorry.
Sure. Let me get that out of the way.
No, I was taping it for you. I'm making a video. So let me just see that. There.
And then actually some of these guys reproduced, and there is 1 or 2 babies actually in this.
Oh, they reproduced in this tank too?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I have too many. I'm so happy you're taking them.
Oh yeah, they need a new home.
Where are you taking them?
I have 3 ponds at home, and I've been raising tilapia for a while, and they have a space now for them, so they're gonna have a chance to grow big.
Yes, and then it will help because then I can take the bigger ones from that middle one and place them over here, so then they can get into a bigger tank. Because then with a bigger environment, it doesn't have that environmental constraint of like not growing.
Right. No, they will grow to the size of the container they're in.
Yes.
There's a hormonal thing I think that limits them.
And at some point, I want to take these guys, either someone like David will take them, or someone else who might have an aquaponic system themselves could.
Mhm.
Or the plan is to put them into one of these systems here. Probably not this one though. This one will keep for koi and goldfish since tilapia are a bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
And when we had the tilapia and goldfish together at one point, the tilapia were just too aggressive with the goldfish, so we ended up losing probably, I don't want to say majority, but it was a good amount of goldfish. And then we were like, once I put up the flood and drain system, or the second one, it was a lot easier than to take the goldfish, put them in here, then add more tilapia, just to make those two systems solely tilapia, and this one remain as the koi and goldfish, because they get along well, or they see, at least in this system, they seem to get along well, and it's not tension or anything.
I'm so glad that we're at that stage again, because when I got the first tilapia we had here, I got from a fish store down on Bell Road that's no longer there, and the guy gave me 5 or 6 little ones that were this size. I mean, the smallest of them. That's all we had here, and I grew them out in these tanks until they got bigger than my hand, and then Inas and I ate 2 of them because we were living off the land for 3 weeks on nothing but what grew here, and then a cold snap came and it killed almost all of them. Remember that? And then when you came in the picture, we were getting some back, and then we lost a bunch to illness. So now they're breeding.
Basically, yeah. Now we have
done a great job.
And I know some people like tilapia because you can have a lot in a smaller space. But personally, for me, humanely, I'm like, I don't want to put too many just for the sake of them having production with the crops and stuff, but you also have to take a look at like the size, the amount of fish, then with the amount of plants, and ensure those ratios are okay. I don't have specific numbers. I mainly just go off of observation, and all of these seem to be doing really well. I might add maybe a couple more into each side of the first flood and drain tank, just because I think the first one there might be like 5 tilapia in there. We can definitely get more in, but I play around with it. I don't have a specific number. It's mainly off of like observation, and so some of these guys here will probably
end up going in there,
going into the first one, but I don't like to just overload a system. But with also those babies in there, that might assist in not bringing over
Is this where you put the babies that were just born?
Yeah, so these were some of the ones that Jorge was actually here. I was able to get. He saw me and I was like, oh, I got them, and they were like this tiny when I got them, and now they've been able to grow a decent amount. And
so for those who are doing this themselves, it probably is good to have various tanks for different stages of life, right? The little ones here, a little larger, and into those IBC tanks. Then that's me.
Yeah, that's what I've at least I've seen, and with these guys here, which it looks like we were able to put, I'm so happy. Oh no, okay, well, it worked. So we were able to get the netting up, which is helping because the algae growth with how hot it is.
Right.
It was hard, and we have I was like, I'm just gonna try this out. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the pineapple. They're not eating the roots. The roots are okay, because mostly when you put the roots directly in
these roots have grown even more. So I'm gonna say, yeah, there seems to be a lot of new growth. So some of this was already here, but some of it looks to be new growth compared to when I put it in.
That's great, because conventional wisdom is if you put it directly in the water, the fish will eat the roots and you won't get any growth, and people do a separation. You're finding these are pineapples, right? Not just random bromeliads.
Yeah,
and these are ones from the store that you just chop the top off?
I believe so. So they started off actually in the flood and drain system. And then
But they were store-bought, eaten pineapples.
So, yeah. I mainly was just like, oh, there's so many. I'm just gonna take some of them.
I think it's great. They're obviously doing well. They're thriving.
It was a trial thing, and it worked. And I was like, wow, put 2 in, and now look at them. They're thriving.
And I think it's helping because one, we needed something in here that would help basically take out some of the nutrients
Right.
from the fish because the filters.
Yeah, that's the whole the beauty of it.
They were doing as much as they could.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a photo of what this tank looked like for several months because it was all of the algae and stuff.
Right, so the pineapple is helping reduce the nutrient overload.
I think so.
And minimize the algae
Because
growth.
a week later, I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah. How long have these pineapples been in there?
This has been since May 4th. Then, so this photo was taken on May 4th, and it was all green. You couldn't really see inside the tank any. And then May 11th, you could see actually inside all of the fish.
Just by putting the pineapple in?
And that was just a week later, and that was the only thing that was changed.
And water change.
And a water change?
There's a cofactor there.
But no scrubbing of the algae off of it? Because tilapia will eat the algae.
Well,
if they
actually,
can.
the week before,
Right.
I didn't change the water.
Okay.
I had been changing the water every single Saturday for about a month and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and the algae just kept coming back. And then that day, if I had taken out some water, it wasn't a full thing because when I put the pineapple in, that water looked exactly how it was in that first photo, and then the next week I came and it was like that. And I want to say the only thing that was done then during the week when I was gone was just the cleaning of the sponge filters, and that was it. Otherwise, the sponge filters had been in there, and then there's an outside filter connected, and that had been there for a month, and like there was no change. And then the pineapple came in, and so I think it just assisted in one, helping take up the nutrients, and then two, it provided an overshade a little bit because I looked at them as if it's almost like an umbrella type, so it wasn't going to block out all of the sun, but it helped out. So like for this one, I chose this one for this because it was so big that it could just go over. Because this tarp wasn't here, so now I think the tarp is also helping. But I put this to act as like a bigger umbrella for some type of shade. Because then the water was also getting warmer too, with it being a lot warmer out and no further shade and stuff. So we have these on. And
85, 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah, to where last week when I was here, this was, which one it helps that it's a little cloud coverage right now, and probably this too, that this is getting up to like 89, and we don't want that.
Right.
Like 85 is okay, whatever, but I'd rather not get it past 85 as
Okay,
best as
so
possible. Yeah.
combination of water changes, filters, pineapple, shading, and of course, I mean, as we're saying, the tilapia will eat the algae in the tank if they can keep up with its growth, right? That's how they're feeding themselves.
Yes, but it was just too much, and it wasn't like the type of algae that you see like on the bottom here, where it just started like growing, and then you could like
pull it
sort of-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a scum
it was
layer.
just this weird, where it was just the water.
Water
it
was just
felt
green.
because it wasn't on the
Right.
glass. That's where this you could see on
Yeah.
the glass, and then I'll go ahead and take a scrubber and I'll scrub, and then it goes like it goes into the sponge filter. But it's been good. It's been working for the past several weeks now, and this one has done well.
And do you have to feed them often, or are they mostly subsisting on the algae?
No, we have them within the regular feeding schedule with these guys, or it's just the once a day.
Are you doing what we used to do of moringa leaves or papaya leaves, dried, crumbled, and then put in?
I do if we have the moringa leaves, but I haven't seen any where we had a thing, but I think we ran through it, and I don't think we've just gotten it back. But otherwise, yes, typically like I'd help give the moringa leaves to help get the iron and stuff back into the fish's system. But other than that,
And not papaya
it's
leaves?
just been, no, I think I've only had the moringa leaves because I haven't been the one to get it. I get the elephant ear, and get the stem of it off. I learned that from Sheila. You take the stem out, and then you of course like
shred it up or
shred
grind.
it up and stuff, and then give it to smaller pieces.
I found it has to be dry. At least when I was doing moringa and papaya, I've got to dry it and then
Yeah, the
Shred
moringa
it.
I've always given it dry. The elephant ears I've always given fresh.
Really? And they
I
eat it.
haven't tried. At least I think so.
Mhm. Okay. It's gone. They
It's
eat
not
it.
in front of me because typically once I go up, they
Right.
see a human, they like back off a bit. So I'm assuming because
Yeah.
because it gets to a point where I come back and I don't see anything in there. So I'm assuming they've eaten some of it.
Thank you
So,
very much
Yeah.
for that tour.